Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the best fighter options that you have available to you at or below $60. Now, by their very nature, combat ships are more expensive for the size than a lot of other options out there, partially based on the weapons, the armor, the shields, and other factors like just flat out knowing that people are going to pay more for them. So there isn't a ton of options in this category under $60, but there are a few worth mentioning. Now, the first two are going to be limited in their function, so if you're only going to be buying one ship, these just wouldn't cut it because they're called snub-nosed crafts, which means that they don't have jump drives. So you would be stuck in the system that you're in basically permanently unless you ended up getting a ride. In fact, the first one, the $20 Merlin, doesn't even have the ability to equip a quantum drive to move around within that system, so it's very dependent on a larger vehicle like the Constellation to actually carry it around. Now, with that being said, though, the ship is a nice little fighter, so if you're looking for an additional ship to maybe tool around an arena commander with, it's a good choice. It's cheap, it's fast, it's agile, it has the capability of equipping decent weaponry on this ship of this size, and it's damn near impossible to hit in the hands of a good pilot. Two size 1 weapons on the wing and a size 2 Gatling on the nose, this ship actually puts out a lot more damage than you would expect it to. It does have a fairly restricted view out of the cockpit, and the ship isn't very durable, and with the limitations it has with jumping, it's a pretty limited audience to who I would actually recommend this ship to. The other option is the 85X, which is the snub nose that comes with the 890 jump, but it's a little bit more capable considering that it can actually equip a quantum drive for in-system travel. So that's going to give you the ability to move around from planets and moons and stations at greater ranges without the need of a parent ship, but you're still unable to leave the system that you're in without something that can carry you the distance. The 85X is more of a luxury craft than a pure fighter, however, it's also a borderline racer, which makes it pretty fast and decently controllable. It's not as hard to hit as a Merlin, and at $50, but it comes equipped stocked with 4 longswords ballistics weapons, which are about as good as it gets for size 1 weapons. And 2 of those on dual link gimbal underneath, you end up getting a little bit more flexibility as far as your mounting. The cockpit bubble does give you outstanding visibility on the horizon and upward and from side to side, but the ship's design means that you're not going to see much below the horizon at all. Now, it's better for in-system work, but again, the limitations in place make it a hard one to really recommend outside of a very limited audience. Moving past the snub nose, there's 3 in this price range that I think make for some decent fighters. At $35, the hands-down best value option here is the AURORA LN, or the Legionnaire. It's not fast, it's not agile, some people say it's downright ugly, but it does bring 2 fixed size 2 weapons and 2 gimbaled hardpoints with size 1 weapon stock, and that's in addition to the missiles on the rack up top. The LN provides you with a lot of firepower for the price and the size, and some actually pretty impressive durability, which is good because the ship isn't going to be very fast. You're going to take damage because you're not outrunning or outmaneuvering really anybody, but it is capable of taking it on the chin pretty well. Another nice perk is the addition of the bed in this craft, so you can actually use this as a logout location if you need to. And if you're trying to get into combat cheap, the AURORA LN is really going to be pretty hard to beat. The last 2 ships are pretty close to our budget, and we're talking about the Avenger and the 300i. We'll go ahead and start off with the option that I don't recommend, and that's the 300. It's a beautiful ship. It has a bit of cargo, it has spots for missile racks, it has size 3 weapons on the nose, it's got size 2s on the wing, it's pretty fast, not overly so, and has decent maneuverability, which all sounds pretty good, right? Well, the problem is the ship is in a weird place, and the design and everything about it is actually going to be going through a rework. The problem is we don't know when that rework is going to be completed. Generally, things get better with reworks, but we don't know the direction it's going to end up going, and currently the Avenger is basically outclassing the 300 at every turn. Considering you can get the Avenger Titan for $5 cheaper, let's go ahead and move on to that. The Avenger actually has 2 options in the price range that we're talking about, with the Stalker being the Bounty Hunter version at $60, and the Titan being the more base or cargo version of the ship going for $50. Now, there's some slight differences that may make it an interesting discussion. You know, first off, you come equipped with prisoner pods in the Stalker, so if your goal is to do bounty hunting in addition to straight-up combat, then the Stalker is the better choice. While both ships come equipped with a pretty great nose gun, being the Tiger Strike Gatling gun, the weapons on the wings that come stock are different. The Stalker comes with a Sucker Punch distortion cannons, and if you're not familiar with them, distortion cannons are the weapons that are really focused on overloading the power plant of the enemy that you're engaging, and the systems overall to help disable the craft, which makes a lot of sense for a bounty hunter or a police. They do knock down shields pretty effectively, so they are good for just general combat as well, but they're not going to do as much damage to the hull by themselves. On the other side, you have the Titan, which comes equipped with laser repeaters on the wings, and those are going to do average damage to shields and the hull of the ship. Since we're talking about pure combat, I think the Titan is the better bet as far as the weapon loadout is concerned. Now, one final consideration here is that the Titan doesn't have the holding cells, which can be a perk if you're not doing bounty hunting. Having the cells in the back is going to add weight, which should impact the flight model some. I haven't really tested to see if it's actually different in-game today with speed or agility, but in theory, it should be impacted. So to summarize these recommendations, the snub-nosed crafts are too limited to be your only ship, and the 300i needs a rework so bad that I can't in good faith recommend it to you. So look over all three of those for now, which is going to leave you with the decision of how much you want to spend, and if you want to go the cheaper route, the AURORA LN is by far your best bet. But if you don't mind spending a little bit more, it comes down to if you're going to be doing just traditional combat or if you want to do some bounty hunting as well. And then you choose the most appropriate Avenger from there. So hopefully that helps you guys come to a decision a little bit. If you have questions about any of this, please get them in the comments. Otherwise, stay tuned for a lot more. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.